for that kind of introduction. And I again ask us all to put a round of applause together for the moms that have been part of our journey here today. So give us a round of applause for the Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And I'd also like to be one of the first to say congratulations to our graduates. So if we could show our appreciation and how proud we are of the accomplishment that they have brought here today for us. So, a big round of applause for our graduates. This is a great time to graduate from a college in northeastern Pennsylvania, and specifically Scranton. I'm not sure if you're aware, but on February 7th, U.S. News listed Scranton as one of the top 100 places to live in the United States. We are truly one of the best places to live in the United States of America. For health science graduates, we've seen more than $530 million of investment in both our institutions of higher education and the delivery of healthcare services in the Scranton area. Maybe someday you'll find your way to either Geisinger or Commonwealth Health, that there's changing the way we deliver healthcare, not only in Scranton, but in the United States. For those of you graduating with degrees in construction and design, maybe you'll find your way to Simplex Homes, where they've been manufacturing modular homes for more than 46 years. Or Costanzo Construction Services, Sordoni Construction, or Miracle, as those organizations have placed millions of square feet of roof for companies that are either growing in the Scranton area or moving to northeastern Pennsylvania. And for those of you graduating with advanced engineering and manufacturing degrees, maybe you'll find your way to a company like Cornell Cookson, where they're one of the largest manufacturers of overhead doors in Mountaintop, or Pleasant Mountain Welding in Carbondale, as they're producing services and wastewater treatment facilities out of their building, their facility. Or maybe you find your way to Cabot in oil and gas, as we've seen more than $1 billion be invested in energy consumption type projects here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and they have 3 of the highest producing wells in Susquehanna County, just north of us. Or maybe you're graduating with a degree in logistics and supply chain. As you're well aware, Interstates 81, 84, and 476 provide access to more than 96 million consumers in the US and Canada in one day's delivery. Or maybe some of you here, sitting before me, will become entrepreneurs. There are 7 business incubators that are waiting for you here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and an organization like mine, Ben Franklin Technology Partners of Northeastern Pennsylvania, could invest over $450,000 in your business to help you get it off the ground. The simple fact is, Johnson College has provided you with an industry-focused learning opportunity in a warm, friendly environment that has prepared you to enter into or maybe advance in your career. And I interact with CEOs, HR managers, and plant managers on a daily basis, and I can tell you this, we need you in our workforce. We want you in our workforce. You will become a valuable part of our economy. Specifically to the graduates, I encourage you to do 3 things. Number 1, pursue your passion. Number 2, speak up. And number 3, meet adversity as your teacher, not a stumbling block. And let me just relay 3 stories that emphasize these points. First of all, pursue your passion. And I say this, and I'm going to give you a very simple word problem to emphasize this. So how many hours are there in a day? 24 hours in a day. This is an easy word problem. So how many hours do you normally sleep? I know this guy right here in the front row, he's thinking 2 hours, 4 hours, 6. Let's just go for simple math. Let's just say that on average you sleep 8 hours. So 24 minus 8, that shows you that for 16 hours you'll be awake. Now I ask you, how many hours do you think you'll be at your job? And again, I would expect that you'll be at your job on average 8 hours. And when you take a look at that word problem, what it shows is that half of your waking time you're going to spend at your job. And so I would encourage you to pursue your passion and move on a career that gives you the opportunities to do the things that you would like to do as you move forward from Johnson College. Number 2, speak up, whether it's to your boss or your supervisor, if you have a small company, your president. Help them understand what your goals and aspirations are. Maybe someday you want to lead a team. Maybe you'd like to learn additional techniques to run additional pieces of machinery, or maybe take on additional continuing education opportunities. I would encourage you to speak up to the people that you're working with so that they understand your goals and your dreams, and they can help you make them become a reality, whether it's a month or a year or 5 years from this day. And the story I relate to you is one I remembered as a teenager. My grandfather served in the Navy, He served on the USS Wilkes-Barre, named after a light Cleveland cruiser, named after the city just south of us here. And he rode that ship or that vessel from the West Coast all the way to the Tokyo harbor for the signing of the treaty, one of the treaties that ended World War II. And on the first day on that ship, this was the story, he was in line with the other people there being assigned their duties, and this gentleman with a clipboard, an officer, looked at the first one and said, you're going to go over there and you're going to swab that deck with these materials and these brooms and such and keep it clean. And he went to the second gentleman and he said, you're going to go move those artillery shells over by that gun. It's big, heavy work. And he came to my grandfather, and he must have looked at him funny, or my grandfather must have been about to say something. He said, what do you want to do, son? He said, I want to hold that clipboard and I want to tell these guys what to do. And he goes, well, here's your clipboard. Go tell these guys what to do. So it's much better in life to speak up and do the things you would like to do as opposed to be told to do something else. So that's number 2, speak up. And number 3, meet adversity as your teacher, not a stumbling block. So I want to relate to you the founding of this great city, the city of Scranton, the founders. And simply in 1840, a geologist came from the greater New York area. He was looking for a place to build a steel mill. And so he originally went to Wilkes-Barre. He found what he thought was going to be a great opportunity. And the folks from Wilkes-Barre, which was the urban center at the time, Carbondale and Wilkes-Barre, and they sent him on his way and said, we're not interested. So he made his way just not very far from this building, and he found the Lackawanna River, and he found all the components to make steel. He found water, he found anthracite coal, he found iron ore, and he found lime. So he went back to New Jersey, and he met up with these 2 brothers, George and Selden Scranton, and their cousin Joseph. And they said, I found it, the perfect place to make steel products in just outside of Wilkes-Barre in the wilderness. And this truly was wilderness at the time. And so they raised $20,000, they buy 500 acres, and they come out to get ready to build their furnace. They have to raise another $86,000 in order to build their furnace, and they start to make nails. And it turns out that the lime and the iron ore that was here was not of good quality. And so they made brittle nails that broke. And so it's really complicated if you're in the nail business, and the nails are brittle and they break. So on the verge of bankruptcy, the New York and Erie Railroad had a contract to provide rails from Port Jervis, New York, all the way to Binghamton, New York. It was 130 miles that they needed to deliver rails. Now, they didn't know how to make rails. They didn't have a furnace big enough, and they weren't sure how they would deliver on this contract. But the English weren't able to fulfill the needs of the contract, so the Scrantons actually won that contract, and they had 2 years to deliver 130 miles of rail. So they build a furnace, they start to make rails, and now, today, we have Interstate 81 and Interstate 84, but at that time, you had farmers' fields, and so sometimes the farmers weren't all that keen about them dragging these steel beams across their field, across their property, so it presented a problem not only making the rails, but delivering them on site. And on December 27th, 1848, with 4 days to spare, they became the first Americans to mass-produce rails and fulfilled their contract and started the creation of a city that has great entrepreneurial values. I tell you this story because you will face challenges and adversity throughout your career, just like the Scrantons. The key to your success will be in how you address those situations. I encourage you to see challenges as opportunities and never stop learning and never stop growing. The city of Scranton has seen its ups and downs during its more than 150 years, and today it is featured as one of the best places to live in the country. I leave you with this one final thought, a quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you are right. Congratulations to the 2017 Johnson College graduates.